Rising majestically from bomb ruins, London's St. Pauls Cathedral represents a faith unshaken by fire and blitz. This 24th of May, 1944, representatives of Britain's far-flung empire gather in worship to demonstrate their faith in that empire. The Chelsea pensioners, veterans of past campaigns, mount the guard of honor. Over 800 servicemen and women represent the young dominions at war. General Montague leads the contingents from Canada who join the ceremony conducted by the Empire Day movement. Tribute is paid the memory of Queen Victoria, under whose reign the empire was founded. The Dean of St. Paul's, Dr. Matthews, conducts the service. The Archbishop of Canterbury delivers the sermon. The Lord Mayor and party attend in full robes of office, attended by the sheriffs and officers of the City of London. Old and young are all imbued with the same abiding principles, faith in empire and confidence in victory. In Canada, the institutes of higher learning have joined the rest of the nation in going to war 100%. Canada's colleges are conducting military training in conjunction with Army, Navy, and Air Force officials, along with peacetime studies. Typical of these colleges at war is the University of British Columbia. It is now the alma mater of 1,600 boys and girls in uniform. Classes are streamlined to war on a co-educational basis. Service pupils are a keen lot. In the science classes, elementary and advanced chemistry are combined with lectures in the deeper theory of physics. These and other subjects useful in peace and war are found in the extensive training syllabus. A well-equipped mechanical engineering lab trains potential recruits for the technical services. All is not calculus and trig in our militarized schoolhouse. Donning the battle order and slinging the rifle, away we go to the battle course. The teenaged youngsters take to commando training like a kitten to milk. Football is a sissy sport compared to this life, and do they love it. Across the Dominion, balanced military and technical training goes on. Students may finish their education and yet train to step into the shoes of Big Brother overseas. If Big Brother finishes the job first, there's been no time lost. These scientists of tomorrow are equipped to take their place in the brave post-war world. In London's Albert Hall, Trooper Al Delaney of a Canadian Reconnaissance Regiment fights Sergeant Freddy Mills of the RAF. The British cruiserweight champ wastes no time in going after the Canuck heavyweight. Mills is the shorter of the two scrappers and wears the stripe on his trunks. In their 10-round contest, Delaney carries plenty of weight on Mills, but the Britisher is in terrific form. A trifle clumsy at times, he nevertheless keeps up a non-stop barrage of uppercuts, swings, haymakers, and even a little overarm bowling. Most of them connect. Delaney swings into reprisals, but is not in condition to take what Mills dishes out. From the second round on, it's the RAF all the way. This is the first time in many fights in England that Delaney has been treated so roughly. Delaney has a few neat defensive tricks which don't seem to be working. In the fourth, after a left hook to the jaw, Delaney is duck soup. It's a knockdown followed by a knockout, and Mills is the winner. To the Canadians in the Italian front lines, this is the story of the most important newspaper in the world. During the long, wearisome trek through Sicily and up the spine of Italy, news was irregular. Canadians had to content themselves with what they could get from American or British Army newspapers and letters from home. At the start of this year, however, permission was secured to found an all-Canadian sheet, a paper of, by, and for Canadian troops. one which would bring news of their own front as well as stories of their comrades in other theaters of action, home news and general items on the conduct of the war. A staff was gathered together from the various field units in Italy and from Canadian base reinforcement group. All these servicemen had held positions on newspapers in the various parts of the Dominion before the war. Presses were commandeered from the Italians. An American linotype machine was unearthed. The casting machine and the stereotype were made in Germany for Italian pre-war use. The operators had a difficult time getting used to this strange collection of foreign equipment. Canadian ingenuity triumphed after much study and application. Liaison with the American paper Stars and Stripes and the British paper The Union Jack brought newsprint from a big pool. The editorial officers moved into the same building as the other two sheets near Naples. News sources were lined up. All the machinery of a big newspaper commenced functioning. The maple leaf rose off the presses. It is important that a maple leaf should be available to every soldier from front lines to base areas. The circulation department attends to this important job. Not only do they keep track of the movements of all units day by day, but they see that the paper reaches the reader the same day it is printed, while the headlines are still news. This gigantic task is handled by a staff under the direction of a well-known Dominion newspaperman. Trucks move the bundles of papers to a nearby airfield. A transport plane carries them up to an advanced landing ground. They are transshipped by lorry to the field post office just behind the lines. The shipment is sorted by postal corps clerks and is loaded on the various ration runs. Then by unit arrangement, the papers are distributed to each soldier in the front lines. On forward gun position or on the now peaceful streets of Naples, the publication is available. The Canadian soldier may read the latest war news, see baseball scores, or laugh at cartoons. He knows what goes on the same as his family at home. His brothers in arms devote their talents to bringing him news, hot news, published by Canada's fighting man's paper, the Maple Leaf. In the United Kingdom, for the Commonwealth conferences, Prime Minister Mackenzie King visits the 1st Canadian Army. A limited time only was available to the Premier before flying back to Canada to preside at a parliamentary session. Inspecting a Canadian armored unit, he sees firsthand the high state of efficiency attained by all ranks. Accompanied by the Right Honourable Vincent Massey, High Commissioner for Canada, Mr. King views the parade with Lieutenant General Crerar, Army Commander, Lieutenant General Stewart, Chief of Staff, and Major General Montague of CMHQ. Masses of Canadian might will be an important part of the Allied Army's next masterstroke. The Prime Minister and Canada are confident they will ably carry on the glorious crusade, emulating the magnificent drive through the Leary Valley by Brother Tankman with the 8th Army. Mr. King will give an excellent account to the people back in Canada of their fighting sons in armor. Accompanied by the Army Commander, the Prime Minister calls on General Montgomery. Monty is in the middle of preparations for the next attack. He's not too busy, however, for a chat and the famous Montgomery smile. In the War Cabinet Room at 10 Downing Street, the Conference of Commonwealth Prime Ministers sign a joint declaration, a new pledge of enduring comradeship to all peoples who fight the common enemy. The 5 leaders of self-governing nations under the British Crown record the results of their 2 weeks in momentous parley. The premiers put their signatures to these 6 great principles. Continuation in the war until every occupied country is restored to freedom. Complete agreement on the principles which determine our foreign policies. Freedom for overrun countries to decide their future. The Commonwealth and Empire seek no advantages at the cost of others. setting up of a world organization to prevent aggression, confidence that the free association of nations in the British Commonwealth is capable of further service to mankind. Powerful voices unite from the four corners of the globe, the words of doom for the oppressor, the chant of hope for the emancipated world of tomorrow.